Hey, what's up, everyone? This is David Greenspan, and you are listening to Season 2 of the Mindshare Podcast, a proud member of the Industry Syndicate Media Network. Additional podcasts are available at industrysyndicate.com and mindshare101.com. This week's episode is sponsored by Kit's Keep in Touch Systems. This is episode 59. So last week on the show, I was joined by my friend Sandra Kirkland, the managing broker at one of Toronto's largest and most successful brokerages. And we had talked about what realtors had to say about other realtors. Now, if you didn't catch us live or if you haven't listened to the recording yet, I encourage that everybody and anybody in the real estate industry listen to it. See, I had asked a question in a popular Facebook group about, and the question was, what annoys you the most about other realtors? Now, I'm asking that question to realtors. She then piggybacked, because that thing really lit up. She then piggybacked on that, and off the heels of that one, she had asked a question in the same group. What do you appreciate most about other realtors? So with almost 500 comments total over those two posts, realtors had a lot to say about other realtors. So we broke it all down. This is a must listen for you, so make sure you listen to it. Download our free Industry Syndicate podcast app, find it anywhere podcasts are available, or simply go to my website, mindshare101.com, click on my podcast, the Mindshare Podcast, and listen to that episode. Now, joining me today is a realtor who operates in the Northwest Florida Panhandle. Also a member of the Industry Syndicate, he's entering his second season of the Modern Agent Podcast with a focus on trying to help new and struggling agents and help improve the fail rate of new agents in the business. He's a community leader, as he calls it, the digital mayor, with the Freeport Insider, which was established 3 years ago and has over 2,000 active members engaging every single day. And he believes that in order to win, you do not have to lose. That relationships are the most important thing, and that doing the right thing is always the right thing. Here on the Mindshare Podcast today is the man they call Ricky G, my buddy, Rick Gonzalez. Ricky G, what up, my man?
Man, that is like the most badass intro I've ever had on any interview ever in the history of ever. That's awesome,
buddy. This is the Mindshare Podcast.
I'm gonna. Can you record that? And I want to use that intro for every interview I ever do from this point forward. That was awesome.
Dude. Love it, bro. Welcome, seriously, man. Thank you. I appreciate you making the time today.
Me, man.
Now, I want to start off with something real important here. For everybody listening, it's very, very important that everybody understands something. I'm in Toronto. This man is in the Northwest Panhandle in Florida. Okay, now, I know everybody thinks that us Canucks up here, it's always cold and we live in igloos and you probably wonder how we have electricity, right? But let's get something really clear here right now for everybody. It is currently, and I'm going to do this in Celsius because that's what we up here understand, but it is -4 in Toronto. It is -6 currently for the next few seconds in Florida. So it's actually warmer in Toronto.
I think it's already warmed up. That was earlier. I think now we've already passed you. We're in the mid 30s now. So I think we've already
cool, dude. 10 minutes ago it was 20 or something you said,
yeah.
Right?
Right. Yeah. When we got up this morning, it was in the 20s and now we're already, getting close to 40. So
unreal, man. Unreal.
It's how Florida works. If you don't like the weather in Florida, you just got to wait 30 minutes.
You see, and that's what I've heard before. But I mean, for me, it doesn't change, dude. There's still snow on the ground out here. I haven't got palm trees kicking around out there.
Yeah, we got pretty beaches. That's what Brome hates about me is I got beaches. So,
well, buddy, I mean, all you guys with beaches that kills me. I remember once when we were on your episode, I think you panned to the outside to show me what your outside looked like, and I thought okay, dude, just turn the camera back around. I don't want to see. Show me your wall of books or something. Right?
Yeah, that's where we got the plain old back wall drop here.
Yeah, much appreciated. Looking out, right?
Anything for you, David.
Tell me this, man.
Yeah.
1% better.
Yeah.
Explain this. What does this mean? How does this help people? How can people even apply that every day?
So, focusing on trying to get 1% better is something I first heard it from a coach at a CrossFit gym that I used to go 2 years ago. And that was the focus that he used to tell everyone in the gym is, because I think today, and not necessarily my generation, but just today in general, everybody wants everything now. And it's impossible, And so I think the focus needs to shift a little bit from, one, stop comparing yourself to everybody else, because what they have has no bearing on you at all. You don't know what their journey's been like. You don't know what they've been through. You don't know how long they've been doing it to get to that level. So don't worry about what they have. Just focus on where you are, and I might reference Gary Vee a few times in here, but have that self-awareness to understand where you are currently, and then just try to get 1% better every day. If you have that constant pursuit of just improving yourself, you'll get where you're going. But you can't try to take shortcuts and feel like if I follow whoever, that I'm going to get there that much faster. Just focus on what you're doing and just constantly improving.
So with that there, when because I think about that too, and you bring up a good point. We all want stuff immediately. And I mean, I think we all have that, right? Like I know for myself, I've always been told, I need to walk before I can run.
Yep.
Here I am like, screw that. I want to sprint, right? Like I just want to get there already. And I mean, I struggle with that every single day. Like I will say that right now, as I sit here talking to you, I struggle with that every single day. I want more. I want more. And this, let me be clear. I don't mean monetary more. And don't get me wrong, it'd be nice to have more, but it's not a need. I am very, very, very content with everything I've got and everything I've done and where I am. And I've said to people very often lately, I'm very happy with where I am. I'm not where I'm going. Right. But I want to get to that a lot faster. And we look at others and think to ourselves, like, how'd they do that? But you hear that all the time is like, we've heard the line, it takes, 10 years to become an overnight success. And if we really pay attention to the stories, let's say you just brought up Gary Vee, you pay attention to his story. He's been doing this a long time. This didn't just happen because he started, he turned on a camera and a microphone. Right.
So, and it's everybody, I mean, I have a 12-year-old who thinks he wants to be, he wants to play in the NFL.
Yeah.
And
my 8-year-old wants to be in the NHL and MLB.
Yeah. Right? So, they all think that, well, these guys get to play on Sunday and make millions of dollars. I want to do that. But what they don't look at is all of the years of sacrifice and work and practice. And they don't look at all of that to get to draft day. They just look at what they do now. And it's so easy to focus on, ooh, he's doing great now, I want that. But they don't do the research to see everything they did over the years and years and years to get there, because nobody wants to do that. The comedian Kevin Hart?
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. Have you watched that show, by the way?
I haven't watched his new one.
Oh, it's cool. Oh, I don't know. New one. I know he's got like a documentary, a miniseries documentary.
Oh no, I haven't seen that. But I used to watch, on his stand-ups, he used to have like a little prayer before he go on stage. Yeah. And one of the things they used to say is everybody wants to be famous. Nobody wants to put in the work. And it's so true with everyone. It's like they focus on what they get, but they don't want to see the hard road to get there. And unfortunately, you can't skip over that.
How long? I want to keep this. I mean, obviously today I want to use that as an underlying topic because I know this 1% better thing. When I read that, I thought I really like that, because that's something, especially with even everything that Mindshare tries to put out to the world. It's really, I mean, looking at the way this is written out, and then and the way I read it in your bios and stuff like that, and talking to you about it, it's very much the same. It's what you have to do today. Right? What do I have to do today to just be better today than I was yesterday? Yep. And it's so difficult for a lot of people to do that, and then to be consistent about it. Right. So
it's that patience, right?
Keeping that as an underlying topic, but just to give people a little bit of a sense of I guess who you are, what you're up to, and kind of like what your day-to-day looks like. You're in real estate.
I am. Yep.
How long have you been?
10 years.
10 years.
This is year 10 right here.
Okay, cool. So when you first started, what was the first thing you did to try to build your business?
Nothing, because no one told me. I'll be honest.
Nothing. I sat around and people started the phone just just started ringing.
No, it didn't. The phone didn't ring, and that was the thing is, and you know, if anyone goes back and listens to like the first season of my podcast, you'll hear me tell my story that for the first 6 years I was in real estate, I had no clue what I was doing, you know, and I fault everything about the real estate industry for that, because, you know, all the classes, all they do is get you to take the test and pass the test, but no one teaches you the business of real estate. And so when I got into real estate, I had no idea what to do. You know, a guy gave me a list of all of his old leads and said, here, call these guys. But I had no idea. I mean, what was I calling them for? What was I supposed to say? How did the process? What if somebody answered and said yes? What do I do? I had no clue. So I was lucky enough to have money saved, but I blew through that real quick and almost worked myself out of the business and had to go get a job.
So, okay. So then what happened that you finally realized that I can't just sit there? I've actually got to do something. But I mean, what happened that you actually started to feel that, you know, it started to come together? I mean, again, important point there, 6 years sitting around kind of doing, but not really doing properly.
Yeah. You know, I kind of, you know, I ummed and awed and I did deals just that fell in my lap, but it wasn't enough to really keep the lights on. So I was working and doing real estate, you know, when I could. And then I got a job on a real estate team working in the office kind of as a manager.
Okay.
And I started to learn a little bit more about behind the scenes. And honestly, it wasn't until, and I hate to give these guys any more credit than I already have, because I know Brome is going to rub it in my face. But it was honestly when I met Neil and Brome and Frazier and Chelsea and Shannon and that group in the Snap Pack. That was when I really started to learn from other successful realtors that do content marketing and social media marketing well, how I could take control of my business. Up until that point, I was really relying on whatever my broker or team leader gave me. And I still, 6 years in, I really was not that confident in how to do real estate. So yeah, I guess Snap Pack is what I did. You know, they turned me on to,
begrudgingly saying that.
Yeah. They turned me on to Gary Vee, and I got more into where we are now, you know, getting more comfortable with really being my own business. You know, Brome had that episode about, are we really entrepreneurs? Starting to get that mentality, because I think so many agents come in and they're like, okay, what do I do now? Who's going to give me leads? Who's going to feed me?
Well, it's a lot about that, right? I mean, and we see that often, where it's that bright, shiny object syndrome, where, you know, people don't know why they're doing it, but they're going to do it just to try it out and see if it works.
Right.
You know, and I'm seeing a lot of people these days who are asking questions around, and I, you know, not to drop names on the companies even themselves, because this is no knock on the companies. No, but companies that post on your behalf on social. I'm not saying running ads.
Yeah.
I'm not saying running ads. I'm saying like actually organically posting on your behalf.
Yeah.
No, like big no. I personally, I do not support that stuff. I think like it's like, you know, me having, you know, Michelle call you up and be like, hey, Ricky, it's Michelle. David just wants to know how you're doing. You know, how's the family? And you're like,
why the hell didn't Dave call me?
Why doesn't Dave call? Right? It doesn't make sense to me.
You know,
that's a cop out.
Yeah. Well, and it's, you know, and so here's how I would rationalize that. If you look at the real estate industry as a whole, it is an older demographic. I mean, we're very heavy in the older ages, I would think. I haven't seen real official numbers, but just from what I see in person, there's a lot of, you know, I would say getting close to retirement age people who are in real estate. And social media, video, podcasting, it scares the shit out of all of these people.
Yep.
And so rather than take the time to learn any of it, it's so easy to stroke a check for X amount of $100 or $1,000 for someone else to do it, because then at least they feel comfortable. Well, I'm doing social media. Even though they're doing it poorly, they feel like they're doing it, and then they just keep on doing their business the way they've always done it.
It's a good point. And this is where I think that the industry really needs to embrace. And this goes down from the demographics that are sort of the folks that have been around for, you know, seasoned and been around a while, to the folks that have just gotten into the business. And this, I mean, Could have to do with age. I think age is a big deal, especially when it comes to this tech stuff, right? But
Mhm.
there's really got to be a fine balance because we're in an industry now that does require your involvement in this social medias and sort of, again, technology, the digital way of advertising yourself and getting
Yeah.
your voice out there.
Mhm.
Um, but the business has not changed from being a people business, from being a relationship business, right? And
Nope.
and connecting with other people. And so the new school agents really need to embrace, hey, I have to think about how some of those old school tactics will actually work for me and how can I implement them. And the
Yeah.
old school folks have to go, you know what? I know I've been doing this and it's not really for me, but I've got to figure out some way within my comfort zone to be able to engage in this type of technology. That's my belief. I
Yeah.
think that there's really got to be that meeting right in the
Yeah.
middle there.
I think, I think the only thing that's really changed, if you get down to the meat of it, the only thing that's really changed in the industry is just how well educated the buyers and sellers are now. It used to be
Yeah.
that we as realtors, we had all the info. We had everything locked up tight. It was ours. Now, I mean, my buyers show up at showings. They know 80 to 90% of everything I know because they've done their homework. They've looked at the taxes, they've looked at the school scores, they've looked at the neighborhood crime rates, they've looked at what the house sold for, what the house down the street sold for last week, and they come in prepared. So that's a change that I think we have to not shy away from. We have to embrace that and find other pain points and other ways we can educate and help them.
So when you talk, okay, that's a great point there, right? They come in very prepared, and I mean, we know this today, right? In today's world, but
Mm-hmm.
it poses a challenge around the value you provide and how
Right.
you're digging for their needs and what you can help them solve. What challenge does that actually pose to you? Is it just the fact that you are no longer the conduit of information, or is that the wrong way to say it? You still are the conduit of information, but what are you
Well,
finding? Like I walk in and I'm like, dude, like, by the way, I've just found all these houses. And you're like, oh, I was just going to
yeah,
show you that stuff or something. Like
yeah,
what challenges are you finding with that?
yeah. Well, like I say, you just kind of just have to roll with it. But the biggest change for me is, and we hear everyone saying, "Oh, Zillow's going to take our jobs," right? So if you go to Zillow right now and you go to their homepage, what do you usually see? There's a search box that says, "Where do you want to live? How many beds? How many baths? How many square feet? And how much money?" Right?
Mm-hmm.
So don't be Zillow. If that's all Zillow is asking is beds, baths, square footage, and price, then why do we care about that? They already know that. They've looked at that. So we should ask questions with, why are you moving? Where are you working? What's important for your kids if you have kids as far as schools? Where do you like to eat? What do you do on the weekends? What kind of a commute is okay? What kind of lifestyle do you want? Because there's nowhere in Zillow search terms that you can type in lifestyle and we eat sushi every Wednesday, so we have to be close to a good sushi restaurant. Zillow can't tell you that.
I
So
like
that's
that.
where we need to come from.
And that's where you talk customer service. That's where you talk relationship. That's the type of thing that no automation in the world can figure out for you.
Exactly.
Right. So I like that because I was going to say to you, what challenge did that pose? And then I was going to say, how do you deal with that? But
It's not,
I think it just went hand in hand right there.
well, I think you just have to look at it as not a challenge. Everyone thinks we have to beat Zillow. And I'm like, look, I've been in real estate for almost 10 years. And I guarantee you that if I ask my wife to find a house online, she's going to Zillow. She's
Yeah.
not going to go to my website because you know what?
Right.
As good as mine is, I'm not going to beat Zillow as far as how they build their website. I mean, they got way more resources than we do to build a real estate website. It's what they do.
Well, that's one thing
So,
I've said for a while. Like your website, like realistically, that website of yours is not. I'm not going there to calculate my mortgage. I'm not going there to shop for a house. So don't spend all sorts of money on that website.
right. Yeah.
It's an
No, I
online
mean,
business card. It's a validator.
we have to work with Zillow. So because I mean, like I said, I send listings to my clients all the time and they will still, without fail, text me, "Hey, I found this one on Zillow. Can we look at this one?" Yeah, absolutely. I just educate them that, hey, look, maybe don't pay so much attention to the valuation because it is a computer generated model. But outside of that, I don't pay it any mind. I just do what I do, which is build in the relationship, like you said.
And there's the key, man. It's building the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
That is the value. I think there was a few years back. I don't remember who it was. I think Inman asked us a question and said, what's the biggest challenge realtors are facing today? and this was probably 2017 maybe, but I still think it holds true right now. And part of that is just remain relevant, right?
Yeah.
And so how do you remain relevant? It's very much to what you just said as well, is Zillow's going to ask about, how many bedrooms and whatever.
Right.
Don't just ask those questions, or don't even ask those questions. Start to
Yeah.
dig further into,
Why?
sushi, and like, where do you like that? And what kind of things do you do in lifestyle? And the more you can learn about people there, the more you're going to stay in the mix. And so when we're talking about that and people are scared about technology, it's important that everybody really acknowledges that if you just really try to build on that relationships with people, and you really just try to continue to connect, and you're going to have a value that no automation, no technology can deliver. And therefore they're going to need you.
Well, I read a book a while ago, Building a Story Brand. And
yeah, I've heard of that. Who wrote that one?
Oh, you put me on the spot.
Sorry. Okay. Don't worry. If we find it, we'll throw in the content. No, because I know that I've heard that book too. For some reason,
it's a good book. But one of the things that they mentioned in the book is people don't want to be told how to do things, and especially in real estate, we're not. I mean, are we really selling houses? It's not like I'm selling you, something small that you might not want, and I kind of sell you and coerce you and manipulate into buying. I mean, if someone's buying a $350,000 house, I'm not really selling it. What I'm doing is I'm guiding you through the process of buying the home that you and your family love, right?
Right.
So I'm just a guide. And how can I guide you through the process unless you trust me? So, I've got to build that relationship and build the trust with you. But the other thing too, where we can really separate ourselves and add value, is people have got to start taking their education seriously in real estate, learning everything about the contracts, learning everything about the addendums and that side of it. Because I joke with my customers and clients and say, okay, congratulations, we're under contract on your home. And they're like, yay, that was fun. Like, it's over. And I'm like, no, that was the easy part. Like, now we've got to get to work and we got to get to closing. And so I think a lot of people, I'm on committees here, I'm on the board of directors here, and I'm heavily involved in the education in our local association. I see the same people come into classes every time. Out of 4,400 agents or 4,200 agents, I see the same 50 to 100 people over and over again. The rest of them are doing what their broker says, doing what their team leader says, doing what their buddy says. And I think a lot of people are missing the boat on getting that education and being a true professional. Even if you look like me in a t-shirt, if you have that level of education, you really are the professional and can properly guide your client to the finish line.
And again, that's where you remain relevant.
Exactly.
Right. And great point you just brought up there is that a lot of folks, like once you get that signature, it's just starting. A lot of folks kind of get that signature and go, beautiful, screw you, and I'll see you in a few days or a few weeks, and we'll come back and we'll sign the deal. And don't worry, it's okay. And you're like, but, right?
So much can go wrong. Like, you've really got to be on it. Yeah.
That's brutal. So tell me this, what does a day in the life of you look like then? Because you just mentioned, no, and keep some of that quiet. I don't want to know. But no. I mean, you just mentioned, like, you're sitting here. I mean, we're on a podcast right now. Mm-hmm. So one, you and again, thank you for the time. You've put the time aside for this. You just brought it up. You're in a t-shirt and I love it. Better. I love it. I mean, that, and I don't knock that. I say that in a way of like, you've obviously figured, and you also said that it took you 6 years to figure it all out. So you sit here today essentially kind of, and we're always learning more, obviously, and we're always doing better everything.
Absolutely.
But you've obviously figured something out.
Mm-hmm.
With that said, I mean, it gives you the opportunity to be here on a podcast, in a t-shirt, hanging out, doing our thing today, because you've obviously know what's going on throughout the day that is going to keep you successful and keep you growing. So from that side of things, Rick, and keep the other stuff quiet. No, but seriously though, like what does it typically look like? Like, are you out there prospecting on a regular basis? What kind of stuff do you do on a daily basis now that you've essentially figured out?
So, my focus every day is one on not dropping the ball, so, excuse me. So Monday I dropped a new episode of my podcast. It was all about trust. And how you build that trust is by being honest, like the t-shirt and me, this is exactly who I am. Whenever you meet me, unless I'm required to wear a suit, this is going to be me.
Yeah.
So when people meet me, they're like, oh, you look exactly the same. There's that feeling of the honesty, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I keep trying to put my message out, do the live videos, post on social regularly in my own voice, because it's me, because I have to communicate with everyone who's listening, whether they comment or not. I do stay in touch with the local market. I'm doing the normal real estate things, checking the hot sheet, seeing what's, active, what's sold in my market. Following up on any deals I got going on, making sure that, again, that I'm not missing any deadlines or dropping any balls. And then if there's time that's not scheduled, it's all about engaging my sphere and improving my education. Those are my two focuses, outside of anything that I'm actively working. So if I don't have a day full of appointments, then my day is going to be full of going through my sphere of influence and seeing how can I add value to these people, not in relation to real estate, just is there anything I can do to help any of the people that are my friends on social? And that could be simply sharing a post that means something to them to get it more exposure. Because again, you mentioned my Freeport Insider page. I do have a little bit of a voice here locally. So for instance, my neighbor yesterday, he has a small landscaping business. And he said, hey, it's going to be cold. Can I come over and winterize your pump? And maybe you could take a picture and share it on Freeport Insider. Maybe I could get a little bit of business. Yeah, absolutely. So anything I can do to help my community, my friends, my neighbors, I'll do that. And then the rest of the time is filled in with reading books, listening to books, going to classes, and trying to get better and do better.
Yeah, that's
constantly.
cool, man. That's cool. I love that. And so when you say engaging with your COI, what kind of things are you doing in a day? Obviously, I know, you're very active with the social stuff. What kind of other stuff are you doing to engage?
That's really it. I mean, I try to get those engagements off of Facebook into personal. So if I engage with somebody, if we start a conversation, so here's what I'll do. I'll go through and I'll try to touch at least 50 people a day, at least.
Is that through social media? How?
Yeah, that's just through social media. I'll just try to touch that. That could be a like, that could be a quick comment, could be a share on social.
Okay.
But if one of those touches turns into a conversation, then I'll try to further that conversation and be like, hey, you know what? This sounds really great. Do you have time for a cup of coffee? And I'll go sit down with them face to face and chat about it for 20 or 30 minutes, buy them a cup of coffee, and take that online relationship into, a face-to-face handshake, meeting, and just deepen the relationship. Well, why is this so important to you? What can I do to help you? And again, keeping in line with Gary Vee and his thank you economy, just giving, not asking for, hey, I'll do this for you, but if you know anyone that wants to, buy, sell, or invest in real estate, think of me. None of that stuff. Just give. And that's, honestly, I wish I had more to tell you, but that's really how I spend my day. That and taking the kids to school, picking the kids up, helping with homework, going to soccer practice, going to jiu-jitsu, that kind of stuff.
Well, okay, but that's an important point though, because when it comes down to time management, we talk about how your day goes, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm digging right there though, Rick.
Yeah.
Seriously, because we all have the personal stuff. Like I live my life in a hockey rink, bro. You know what I mean? Like we were there, what day is today even? Wednesday. We were there last night. We're going to be there tonight. We're going to be there tomorrow night, right? Last week it was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 2 games, Saturday, 2 games, Sunday, a game, right? We took Monday off. Sunday night he had baseball practice. Monday was like off of sports, but boom, Tuesday night, right?
Yeah.
We're right back at it. So it's you've always got the personal.
Yeah.
Then you got the business, and the engaging with the COI is a big one, because unless you've got meetings, unless you've got actual, I'm going out to meet with David to talk about listing his home. What do we do as a realtor? Yeah. And there's a lot of people that scroll MLS, they'll scroll Facebook, they'll just stalk on Facebook. They won't actually do anything on Facebook or IG, wherever your platforms are. They won't do anything. They'll just be there and call that work, but it's not work.
No.
You've got intent.
Yeah.
You're on social, touching 50 people.
You have to. If you don't do it intentionally, and that was one of my big things this year, is to get more intentional with my time and to streamline things, just to stop adding doodads and distractions and get really simple. We talked a little bit off camera before we went live that I reached out to all my clients from last year and got feedback.
Yeah.
And based on that feedback, I knew, okay, these are the things that they found important. So, the whole 80% of the work or 80% of the return comes from 20% of the work.
Yep.
So if that's the 20% that really matters to them, then what am I doing messing around with all this other stuff? Why don't I just go full tilt on these 3 things? And then I've got plenty of time to spend with my family and plenty of time to do what I want to, because these are the things that I'm focused on. And that's what I'm doing. They wanted me to be who I am, like right now, t-shirt, being me, just none of this is fake.
Yep.
If anyone out there meets me for coffee tomorrow, this is exactly who I'm going to be.
Yeah.
Follow up, do exactly what I say I'm going to do. And they felt like I cared about them, which I actually did. So that's all I've got to do. And if I do that every single day consistently, I promise you, I'm going to win.
You got to, okay, hold on. There was one point I wanted to, I just wanted to hit home with. You had brought up, and I love this. So everybody listening, pay attention. How do we take an online conversation and turn it into an offline conversation? And Ricky just told you exactly how to do that, okay? It was very simple. Get engaged with intent on social media. So here are the steps. Step 1, get engaged on social media. Have intent. So start liking, commenting, reacting, posting, sharing. The minute you get reciprocation from somebody, and it's not always just, they might just say thank you. They might just go like back to a comment you, but whatever. But then you're going to find some of that reciprocation where there's going to be engagement in a conversation, which now means you've now got your own reciprocation where you go back and forth. Well, all of a sudden you're starting to exchange that. The next step is, hey, want to go for a cup of coffee? Now you've just opened. Not everybody's going to say yes, but you've just opened up the opportunity. And I thought that was really, really important because a lot of people are always struggling with, how do I go from here to there? And I try to give a lot of ideas of like, find groups that oh, hey, you're a hockey fan. Are you part of this group? I say hockey.
Sure.
Football, whatever. Are you part of this group? Oh, I didn't know about it. Great. You're on Facebook, right? Let's connect. Bang. I've just connected with you on social. I've now introduced you to a group. Now I'll follow up with you in a few days, find out if you've actually connected with that group, see if you got whatever, like, who knows, carry the conversation.
Yeah.
That conversation keeps going. But if you initiate it on social, you can now go the other way and take it offline. Loved that, man.
And the thing is that I think everyone thinks everything has to be so complicated. Like, well, this is a professional engagement, so I have to invite them to an appointment at my office, or no, like the big thing, like you said something earlier about, how, the real estate industry has changed and now we have to provide our value. And I really think it's all industries have changed. People now want that one-on-one engagement from anybody. I mean, they tweet all the big names and they want a response. And I think that anybody out there who is in business, if they're not on social, engaging with their audience and their customers on a one-to-one level, is really missing out big time. I shared a post early today from our local sheriff's office. They have a fantastic page that you would ordinarily think a sheriff's office, all they're going to do is tell them, posting pictures of, people they arrested and complain about speeders. No, they're hilarious. They got a great PR person and people love them. They are constantly giving us great advice. And that's all we got to do. Is it doesn't have to be real estate advice. Today they posted for us Floridians who don't know how to deal with ice, how to de-ice your windows and not get stuck. And they did it in a very funny way, making fun of Floridians who, if it gets below 60, we don't know how to act. But they've got 50-something thousand people following the sheriff's page, and they got their engagement is through the roof. And I think people just have to, one, you can be professional and still not take yourself too seriously. You can let the guard down a little bit and be personable and allow people to come in so that you can build that trust. I know you say it all the time, know, like, and trust. But how can you build that if they don't even know who you are because you hide behind your logo or you hide behind your power suit and your Range Rover? If you don't let people in, you can't build the trust. And so the easiest way to do it is to reach out to them on their level, on their page, and things that matter to them, and see how you can help them. Make it about them, not you.
See, it's amazing because so often we hear from people, but I'm not working a deal, and I just don't know if I want to take them for coffee because, well, there's no business there, and I'm really busy. And you've really hammered home the point that is a very important cup of coffee, whether they're looking to
Yes.
do something or not. We've got to engage, right? And I want to mention, I mean, where you state again to the fact that it took you 6 years to figure out this real estate business. You've been in it for 10. So like over 50% of the time was spent going, I don't know. Yet you were literally just nominated for Realtor of the Year. Not just nominated, but you won the damn thing. Like, congratulations to you, man. That's amazing.
Thank you, thank you. And that was all because of my community involvement. Because that's an award that you're nominated by other realtors, and voted on by other realtors. And so my peers see me engaged in my community and doing a lot of good and being positive in my community, and they felt I deserved the award. I was shocked when I got nominated. I was even more shocked when I won.
I remember watching the post, dude. I
I
was
was
pumped
like,
for you, man.
holy shit,
That's
but
cool.
it was nice to get that positive reinforcement that what I'm doing works. I don't think it was necessary because the over 2,000 people in my city that constantly message me and say, hey man, we really love the page. Thank you for being an advocate for our community and being so positive. That is really what I was looking for. But I'll take the little glass, doodad to put on my desk.
Man.
I'm not mad at it.
That's cool.
But that's just one more thing that has come from the last 3 years of me building Freeport Insider.
Well, okay, and I wanted to ask about that now. So the Freeport Insider, as far as I understand, please correct me if I'm wrong, it's a lot of local community information. It is a shitload of value add for people in the community.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's bottom line. What is it? A web page? It's a newsletter? Both?
No newsletter. So what I did is I bought my house out here in a new city in a new county. Didn't know anything about anybody. And I couldn't find any resources to locate where do I take my dogs to get groomed or anything. So I originally started the page. It was called Freeport Real Estate because I was doing the old mistake of making everything about real estate.
Okay.
And got crickets.
Yeah.
Nobody liked it. Nobody, nothing. So I took a step back again. Gary V, thank you, economy, digital mayor. I said, you know what? Let me just make it about Freeport and see what I can do to help. And it hasn't stopped. I mean, I've got the page, which is public facing, because there are a lot of people moving to the city. So I want them to see it and get some value. And then I have a private group that's for people who live here now to talk about things, a little bit more privately. And then what I've done is I use Easy Agent Pro, just like Brome does, and Neil. And I've taken that Easy Agent Pro site and made it freeportinsider.com.
Cool.
So all of the blog posts about local stuff I now put on my Easy Agent Pro site. And so now they're going there and they can do valuations and search for homes if they want to. But the main Facebook page is really where I get all the activity.
And the whole reason for that, again, is the value add.
Yeah. I mean, all I do is I'll promote local businesses, events, I'll go to city council meetings and update people on what's going on in city council meetings. I mean, anything I can do to add any kind of value to the city of Freeport, to the schools, to charities, anything, I put it on there, and the engagement is crazy. I mean, I could make a full day of just going through all of the comments on that page and engaging with everyone. That could be almost a full-time job.
Okay. So speaking of that, then you did the Freeport Insider so that you could provide value. Was does it bring in business?
I've only had, I think, 2 people message me from that page and say, hey, can we use you as a realtor? But I've had a lot of people from both the Instagram side and Facebook that said, we've seen you online the last couple of years and now we want to buy a house. So, you're our guy. So I don't know if I can attribute it directly to it, but it definitely played a big part in them feeling comfortable enough with me to reach out and want to use me.
Okay. So this goes back to, again, the free value that most people hate giving out. Because no, it's true, right? Everybody just wants to monetize and let's keep moving, right?
Right.
But it really goes the other way. It is about the free value we provide and how much we put out there, and the fact that we're building mind share with people. And these days, because there's so many different ways to connect with other people, so many different channels out there, it is tough to attribute, that deal to one particular effort. And I know I've had this conversation for 15 years with people. Oh, but I don't think it's brought me a deal. I'm going to go and do something else. And it's like, you got to be kidding me. Are you telling me that every time you post something on social media, somebody calls you up and says, hey, I want to do business with you? Like, give me a break. Or every time we post a video, hell, it doesn't work that way. Right? It's about building mind share, getting out there with people. And so again, I love the fact that you're delivering this value, because I think a lot of folks go, how do I get out there in my community? How do I prospect more? And we all, it's not brand new. This is not, rocket science when I say this, but connect with shop owners and find out what's going on in the community and events and fairs and schools. And what can you share to people? And now you're in Freeport, obviously, right? Like that's the area. When people come to Freeport, they're possibly going to land on this site. They're then going to get to know about you, Rick. And if they're interested in doing anything, they may or may not. But all of a sudden, we've already got the know you part of the like you would trust you, right? They might even like you. They might even trust you because they see that you're legit. You're always there. Bang, man, you're already in.
I just took people, shopping for a house this past weekend. They're from Alabama. The first time we met, I think we had one phone conversation before they came down. But other than that, it was all through social media. And as soon as they get here, the first thing she does is comes up and hugs me, because she already had seen so much of my content online. She felt so comfortable that she wanted to give me a hug because she thought I was such a nice guy. And she was just so glad to meet me. And I was, when that stuff happens, it kind of takes you aback a little bit, because you're like you don't even know me. But they do.
Sure, man. And that's you're being real, right? You're being real with people.
And you can't put a value on. So does it monetize? I have to say, absolutely it does. Between this.
But which deal? Who knows?
And that's the thing. I think it plays into everything. Like I put a sticker on my rear windshield in my truck, because I do carpool, drop off and pick up for the kids. And it's just one more time that they see the Freeport Insider logo in their face. And so it's like you said, it's mind share. I don't want to use that term, because I think then I have to send you like $5 every time I say it.
No, I think you're more than welcome to use the term. And I mean, you can send the $5 if you want.
But it's true. It really is. You got to take up a little bit of space in their brain. So whenever they hear Freeport or real estate in Freeport, that they think of me, and hopefully, again, I'm not trying to be a $20 million a year realtor. Like I don't need that kind of money to be comfortable and for my family. So for the deals that I need, the way this business works is perfect.
That's beauties, man. So now talking about value, I mean, with all the time that you're spending doing what you do, I know you've got a team, you manage a team, right?
I mean, loosely using the term team, because I'm at eXp Realty, like Brome, I have people that come into the business under me. But
dude, if you keep mentioning Brome's name, you're gonna have to pay him $5 each time.
I have him on direct deposit. Every time I say it, I just click. It's like I had the easy button. There you go. Send another $5.
Nah, he's the man.
So I don't directly manage them. They came in, they're under me. So I do mentor a little bit, but I do that for anybody. But I don't have the Ricky G team that has all these agents that I don't do that.
Okay, cool. But you do have the Modern Agent podcast.
I do.
Which, talking about delivering value, is just another piece of that pie, right? What's your focus with that podcast? Like, I mean, why did you decide to start it? Was it a very similar thing, add value, sort of a piggyback off the insider? Hey, oh, you're going to say it again, eh?
You're gonna make me say his name again? Dude. Brome made me do it. No, so here you go. And if anyone doesn't know who Dustin Brome is, I completely understand. Not many people do. So if you look at what I'm doing, I mean, completely honest, I'm really stealing everything from Dustin Brome. So he did the Massive Agent podcast.
I'm counting like $100 so far, bro.
I did the Modern Agent podcast. He did Salt Lake Insider. I said, hey man, I like that. Can I do Freeport Insider? He said, yeah, sure. Go ahead. The only thing that I was first to was I joined eXp before he did. But other than that, I'm just copying what he does. So to answer your question though, the reason why I did the podcast was exactly like you read in my intro. When I got into real estate, I saw a huge gap between what they teach you to get your license and what you need to not get pushed out of the business in the first 2 years. And so that's all I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to do a little bit of Gary Vee and give away some free advice because I know what got me here was not hard. It just took me way too long to learn it on my own. So while I'm learning what's going to take me to the next level, I want to share what got me here and help as many new or struggling agents out, because if they can make 70 to 100 grand a year working 20 hours a week and taking care of the kids, I think that will help a lot of people. So I'm just trying to get anyone who wants to listen, I'm trying to get them to where I am now, today, while I learn what's going to get us to the next level.
I love that, bro. Cause I was going to ask you too, why you started, it makes a ton of sense. What was the first step you took to get that going? And I mean, was it just literally like go and grab the equipment and just start literally recording with the topic? Like, because again, there's a lot of people that, just like we talked about social and video and whatnot, they don't want to get near podcasting just because they go, I got no idea what's going on there.
One, if I have a choice on any kind of medium or thing that I would do going forward, it would definitely be podcasting. Cool. For some reason, I'm hooked on it. I like it. Probably because you do a live video for your podcast. I just do the podcast.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's super easy. I went onto Amazon and I bought me a Yeti mic that looks just like yours. Mine's nice and shiny.
Yeah. I went with the black one.
And I use GarageBand on my Mac, so it's free. I got a $14 subscription to Buzzsprout, and I just clicked record and went for it.
Same deal.
I think I spent $20 on Fiverr to do an intro and outro. And that was it. That's all I've done. So my first episode was really, I had no idea how I was going to take this, but I reached out to you, Neil, Brome, and one of my local agents, Joe, for the first 4 episodes. Cause again, the damn guy, Dustin, gave me some really good advice of, you want to have like 4 or 5 episodes in the can. So I recorded all of those and then launched them all Christmas Eve of 2018. And kind of haven't looked back.
That's cool, man. And again, it's just another way that the word gets out there, the value gets out there with people. The more you're building more mind share out there, and helping a ton of people. And it's so important that everybody really pays attention to that point, is the more you help others, the more others will help you. And you cannot go into it with a mindset of, okay, Rick, I'm going to do this for you. And if I do this for you, you've got to do this for me. No. Or I'm going to do this for you and then sit there with my hand out and go.
Right. Well, so many people, the first question is, what's in it for me?
No, man.
And it's kind of sad because, they say, well, there's the tide raises all ships, and there's all those other phrases that mean the same thing. But I think you mentioned it earlier in the intro again, in order for you to win, I don't have to lose.
Right.
There's plenty of real estate in my market. I think almost $6 billion of real estate was sold in my small market. That's plenty to go around for everyone. We don't have to be so competitive that we're adversarial. We can be more collaborative and work together, make sure both of our clients feel warm and fuzzy at the end. We both make money. We have happy clients. All of a sudden, realtors aren't bad guys. We're not used car salesmen anymore.
Right.
And so it's a little bit, maybe I'm a little bit idealistic where I want to improve the industry, perception. And I want to help new agents not fail. And I want to support my community, and I want to support my maybe it's too much, but I figured, why not try and,
Buddy, Realtor of the Year. You got over 2,000 people checking out your page there. It seems to be working. You know what I mean? You seem to have a method of operation that has success to it.
Some people like me. I haven't figured it out yet. Some people seem to like me. I was, we talked earlier about the podcast. I was really, really, really surprised at how well the podcast has been doing, because I don't put a lot of effort into it because it is just me. I was shocked to be ranked 27 on Apple Podcasts.
That's sweet, bro. So pumped for you on that, ridiculous. Man. So pumped.
So that was good.
So you mentioned the book before, Story Brand. I did look it up while we were chatting. Donald Miller was the guy that wrote that. You got any other books you want to drop quickly before we go?
The one I just finished that I really love and I would probably read again and again is called Essentialism. Brandon Burchard, I think, is the guy who wrote that one.
Yep.
And that's just a good book because again, I don't think you can say it enough. Real estate, as a real estate agent, you are constantly sold every shiny thing in the book. I mean, there's thousands of people that have failed in real estate and made a bunch of money by selling realtors crap that we don't need.
All the time.
So that book, Essentialism, kind of helps you just dig through your life in general and your business and really get down to the things that really are essential. The tagline of the book is the pursuit of less but better, and or the disciplined pursuit of less but better. And I'm like, so like I'm doing this year, I've streamlined my business to 3 things. I'm going to be doing less, but the result is already turned out to be much, much, much better because I'm focused on the right things.
Sweet, man. Ricky, any last words of inspiration over here?
I hate to like the t-shirt. Just, I think anyone out there who's listening, again, just realize that you can win by helping people. And even if you're brand new, I guarantee you there is someone that is newer in the process than you. Don't be afraid to share just that one nugget. Maybe you've only learned one thing in the 2 months you've been in real estate. Do not be afraid to turn around and teach that one thing to the person behind you. And then just constantly be in that pursuit to get 1% better. Hold yourself to a higher standard, be a professional, even if you're wearing a t-shirt and flip flops. And I think, that will not only help you, but the industry and your community as a whole.
Very sweet, bro. Where can people find you to connect more? I know we talked about the Freeport Insider. What's the link there? And then obviously on social and stuff.
Yeah. So Freeport Insider is just Facebook and Instagram at Freeport Insider. Cool. And then for me personally, it's Rick.A.Gonzalez on Instagram, or you can just search Rick Gonzalez in Freeport. I don't actually know my Facebook official link anymore. I've changed it so many times, but I'm pretty easy to find. It's got a picture of this handsome mug at the beach. So the same shot that you use for the ad is my profile pic. So pretty easy to recognize. But yeah, I'm everywhere except for TikTok.
Cool. Yeah, I can't do the TikTok. My wife is hooked though, but it's
I can't dance. I can't dance. Otherwise, I'd be on there.
Dude, everybody check out the Freeport Insider just as a sense of even if you're not anywhere near Freeport, so you can't take advantage maybe of what's going on in the community. However, take advantage of what this man has set up and how he's leveraging something like that to help build his brand, build that mind share. I do encourage everybody, follow him, check out his Modern Agent podcast, available everywhere, including our Industry Syndicate app. And with all that said, Rick, thank you, man. This is as always, it's been a great conversation. I really appreciate all the insight today, the knowledge. We got some wicked nuggets, and I hope everybody takes this stuff and really runs with it. So thank you again.
I appreciate the invite and the opportunity, and hopefully we'll get to do it again.
You bet, man. And for everyone listening, make sure, if you haven't already, that you go to www.themsc101.com and read the success stories about everyone who took the Mindshare Challenge this past fall. We are starting another one on February 11th, and this is going to help you get all of you, even more than just 1% better. So if you're up for the challenge, go check it out. Use this promo code, MS10140, to save 40% off the registration. Usually only $397, 40% off brings it to about $238, and right now it's only available for a few more days. So again, 40% off that. This is where your next deal comes from. You up for the challenge? www.themsc101.com. Let's do this. You're either listening to this on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, or Spotify. Or maybe you went to industrysyndicate.com. Maybe you downloaded our free Industry Syndicate podcast app. Or maybe you went to my website, mindshare101.com. Wherever you like to consume your content, please rate, review, and subscribe. And if you haven't yet, connect with me on Facebook at Mindshare101 and on Instagram at DavidGreenspan101. This has been another episode of the Mindshare Podcast. Thank you, everyone, for listening.